Vtubing. The goofy anime characters you see on the internet with the person controlling them behind the screen. Also, probably some of the fastest growing content creators on the internet, with the possibility of a 30-year-old dude controlling them behind a screen. Who knows? It could be you. It could be me. Jokes aside, generally VTubing is amazing for people who want to start streaming or making videos, or even those who are already content creators. You can just convert to VTubing. Come to the dark side, you know? You can be an anime character or really anything like in between. Like this fish right here. Yeah, I'm a fucking fish, so what about it? I identify as fish, huh? You have a problem with that? Come on, you have a problem with that? Or you can even be tiny like this. Hey, what is that? Hey, no. As of recording this, it's already hella late in 23, so we might as well call it 24. But anyways, VTubing. Is it really worth it for you? In short, yeah, just become a VTuber, it'll be worth it. But let me give you some extra information just before you decide to become cringe. Like me. Number 1, the cost of VTubing. The cost of VTubing can vary a lot, depending if you either want a 3D model, 2D model, overlays, assets, and generally a shit ton of other miscellaneous things. But I'll only be going over the model itself, as the rest of the stuff I just mentioned is mostly optional in the end. Number 1, commissioning a live 2D or 3D model. This can range a ton in price, the bare minimum being around $100. By the way, I got this entire model for around $70 fully custom. But let's just ignore the fact that I don't have any legs. Right? You're ignoring this, right? And then to find people to commission, you can either scroll through VGen or you can just go through Fiverr. But usually VGen is the more preferred among the VTuber community. But normally a fully custom model can cost up to hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Too bad I ain't got that kind of money. By the way, respect to all the artists and riggers out there. Y'all are fucking amazing what you guys do. Please keep in mind though, I wouldn't really recommend dropping a ton of money if you're just starting out, unless you're like absolutely sure that you're gonna fucking enjoy VTubing. Otherwise, it's just kind of gonna be a waste of money. Which brings me on to point number 2. You can either buy a pre-made live 2D or 3D model. There's quite a few websites you can do this on, but the most popular one being Booth. This is usually a very good option if you either want a high quality model at a very low cost. But the only thing you're gonna have to really keep in mind is that others may be using that same model, just because it's pre-made. But I wouldn't really worry about it too much though, because most of those models are already usually pretty customizable through a VTube Studio. You can also find the free model on those same websites as well, either on Booth or on Twitter as well, depending on who. But please keep in mind that the same thing, others are probably going to be using that same model if that bothers you. But then again, they're pretty customizable. Which brings me on to point number 3. You can also use Vtubing Studio to create your very own custom 3D VTuber models with a detailed selection of free assets for you to use. Not sponsored, by the way. You can also create free custom assets on VTube Studio as well, but that's fucking difficult, and I genuinely respect anyone who can do that. By the way, I forgot to mention this, but Vtubing Studio is completely free to use, so have fun. There is also one final option, and that is to start off as a PNG tuber, which is what you're looking at right now. A PNG tuber is basically almost one and the same as a VTuber, but a VTuber is more animated than PNG tuber, as you can see here. Some PNG tubers can have a really nice animated model, depending on who makes them, but most just have simple mouth movements, like this one right here, because I made this one in the span of an hour. Most people like to start off with a custom PNG tuber, because it's way cheaper than a custom VTuber model. And it's a lot easier to run on anything compared to a live 2D or 3D model too. VTubing can either be super fucking expensive or it can be virtually free. Most people like to spend money on it though, just to have custom stuff, such as myself, because you know it's personal to you. So you better have some money or not. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. Number 2, standing out. Ever since the VTuber boom of 2020, there have been many more VTubers that have come into existence. There is just a slight possibility that there is a ton of VTubers out there now. But regardless, standing out as a VTuber nowadays is super fucking important, just because the competition for the spotlight now is a lot more fierce than it was back then. Creating a VTuber design that stands out is important and all, don't get me wrong, but the thing that's gonna really keep people staying and subscribing is your personality. Your personality is the thing that's gonna shine out of your VTuber model, because sure, a cute anime girl is gonna attract people, but it isn't actually gonna make you stay. All I'm really trying to tell you is please don't be fucking blind. As a side note as well, regarding your VTuber name, make sure you choose carefully because it is going to be a brand after all. Then my final point, please don't be lazy. A lot of VTubers out there can sadly fall into this category, where a VTuber can stream for like 1 week straight and then all of a sudden, they'll be missing for like the next 10 months, quote unquote, getting the milk. Like where the fuck did you guys go? If you're gonna be VTubing solely for the purpose of just having fun and not taking it seriously, then to be honest, that's perfectly okay. Be as lazy as you want to be. But if you do want to take VTubing seriously, just please be fucking consistent. If you stream, do it consistently. And if it's okay to have off days in general, or even some weeks off, but please communicate to your fans about that so they won't be left in the dark. The same goes for video creation too in general. A lot of VTubers wish to take VTubing seriously, but they can easily fall into the laziness trap, so please keep in mind of yourself and don't let yourself fall into that trap, okay? And finally, the conclusion segment of this video. VTubing ultimately is the same as any other form of streaming and content creation. It's just you get to be a cool anime girl or anime boy. If you want to make it somewhere in VTubing, you have to take it seriously. You can't just be lazy about it. But then again, if you're just in it for the fun of it and not really caring to actually make it big, then there's nothing wrong with that. VTubing full-time isn't for everyone. But then there's personally me. I quit my job so I can pursue this shit full-time. I'm truly on the road to hell now, aren't I?